Have you ever wondered why love feels so different after you turn 60? Why do the same feelings that once made your heart race seem quieter, or sometimes even confusing? Imagine an old tree in a garden. When young, its branches reach far and wide, eager to touch everything around. But as it grows older, the tree stands steady, focusing on deep roots rather than outward branches. This is much like love after 60. It changes, settles, and sometimes asks us to see it in a new way. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a space where we explore the simple yet deep truths of life, guided by gentle wisdom from Buddhism. Today, we start a special journey together, understanding why it's said, "Don't love anyone after 60. Don't worry. This is not about closing your heart, but opening it to a different kind of love." We promise you honest, heart-touching insights that might change how you see relationships, loneliness, and inner peace. Before we begin, a small request. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more meaningful content that touches lives. As we age, the way we love naturally shifts. It's not that love disappears, but its nature becomes quieter, deeper, and sometimes more challenging. Why does this happen? Buddhism teaches us that attachment can be a source of suffering, especially when we hold tightly to things that change, like people and feelings. After 60, life often brings changes. Children grow, friends pass on, health shifts. These changes ask us to rethink what love really means. Think of a river that flows calmly after years of rushing rapids. Later life love is like that river, calmer, more aware, not driven by just passion or need, but by kindness and understanding. But it also calls us to be careful. Why? Because clinging to love the way we did in youth can bring pain. Buddhism invites us to see love as a gift, not a possession. It asks us to love without losing ourselves. In this series, we will explore how love after 60 can be wise, gentle, and full of peace, even if it means loving with some distance. We'll learn how to find joy in solitude, how to forgive regrets, and how to prepare for life's final chapter with grace. This is not about giving up love, but about loving in a way that frees us. So stay with us on Wisdom Woven. Together, let's discover how to let love flow naturally, without holding on too tight. Because sometimes, letting go is the greatest act of love there is. Thank you for being here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Your journey to understanding love anew starts now. Unraveling attachment. The Buddhist view. Attachment is something we all experience. It pulls at our hearts, binds us to people, things, and ideas we cherish. But according to Buddhism, attachment is much more than just liking something or someone. It is a deep holding on, a clinging that tries to make things permanent in a world where nothing stays the same. This clinging, this grasping, is the root cause of much of the suffering we face, especially as we grow older. Imagine holding a handful of water. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Attachment is like that. When we try to tightly hold on to people, memories, or even feelings, we often end up feeling more pain because all things change. Buddhism calls this upadana, which means attachment or clinging. It includes wanting to keep things just as they are because we believe that will bring us happiness. But life is always moving, always changing. And when we resist this flow, suffering arises. As we age, attachment can become even more challenging. We may want to hold on to youth, health, close relationships or familiar comforts. Yet, aging teaches us that these too are impermanent. The Buddhist teachings encourage us to observe this truth gently and clearly. By understanding attachment, we can learn to loosen our grasp. This doesn't mean we stop caring or loving. It means we learn to love without tying our happiness to things that won't last. To understand attachment, it helps to look at our everyday feelings. When we're attached, we often feel anxious or afraid of losing what we love. We may feel upset when change comes or when someone leaves. This fear is natural, but it keeps us trapped. Buddhism teaches that if we can see attachment for what it really is, a habit of mind filled with craving and fear, we begin to find freedom from it. There is a misconception that Buddhism wants us to be cold or disconnected by avoiding attachment. In truth, it invites us to engage with life fully but with wisdom. Loving without attachment means accepting others as they are, not trying to control or possess them. It means opening our hearts, yet remaining grounded so that if change comes, we do not fall apart. Think of a bird that visits your window. You can watch it, smile at its beauty, but you don't trap it. You appreciate its presence without forcing it to stay. This is the kind of love Buddhism guides us toward after 60. A love that is free, compassionate, and peaceful. In daily life, practice mindful awareness of attachment. Notice when you feel the urge to cling tightly to things or people. When you catch yourself in this holding pattern, breathe deeply and remind yourself gently, everything changes. This practice softens the grip and opens space for acceptance and peace. As we loosen attachment, we discover a deeper joy, one not dependent on circumstances but rooted in understanding and presence. The Buddha showed that liberation from attachment leads to nirvana, a state beyond suffering, where the heart can rest serene even amid life's inevitable changes. This path does not mean isolation but cultivating inner freedom, so we can share life's moments fully and kindly. We can cherish relationships, appreciate beauty, and feel gratitude without being trapped by fear or desire. Attachment often arises from the mistaken belief that we or our loved ones are permanent and unchanging. Buddhism teaches that recognizing impermanence is a way to cut the roots of suffering. Instead of being trapped by what-if fears, we learn to live what is with courage and grace. Imagine a river flowing freely, never holding back. In the same way, our hearts can learn to love without chains, open to all that life brings. This is a peaceful love, mature and wise, fitting for the later chapters of life. Loosening attachment does not happen overnight. It is a gentle process of awareness and patience. When we practice kindness toward ourselves as we learn this new way of loving, we take one of the most important steps toward genuine happiness. So, untying the knots of attachment is not about losing love but about freeing it from patterns that cause suffering. It is about opening to a love that flows naturally, peacefully, and without fear. In this understanding, we find not emptiness but fullness, a heart open to all experiences without being overwhelmed by them. This wisdom offers comfort, peace, and a new way to embrace life's final seasons with dignity and joy. By embracing the Buddhist view of attachment, we begin to see why after 60, love asks for a different kind of attention. A love rooted in acceptance, freedom, and deep connection without clinging. Love, in this light, becomes a gift to ourselves and others. It flourishes not by holding on tightly, but by letting go with faith in the flow of life. This wisdom is not just for the wise or monks far away. It is for everyone who walks the path of aging, offering a tender way to meet life's challenges with an open heart and steady mind. As you continue your journey, notice the moments when attachment surfaces. With kindness, practice releasing the grip and welcoming a lighter, freer way to love. Because in the end, the greatest love is the one that sets both ourselves and others free. From suffering, from fear, and from the endless chase to hold on to what cannot stay. May this understanding bring warmth to your heart and peace to your days. With this gentle unfolding, love after 60 can be wise, deep, and true. The nature of suffering in later lives. Suffering is a word many shy away from, yet it is a part of life that touches every being. In the Buddhist view, suffering is not just pain or hardship. It is a basic feeling woven into the fabric of existence. As we grow older, suffering often takes on new shapes and shades, inviting us to understand it more deeply. But it is not meant to be a cruel burden. Instead, it holds the key to wisdom and compassion if we learn to look at it with care. In later life, suffering shows itself in many forms. There may be physical pain or illness, loss of loved ones, loneliness, and the gradual change in what we can do or experience. We may wrestle with regrets, fears of death, or the sadness of seeing the world change around us. These experiences can feel heavy and overwhelming. Yet Buddhism gently teaches us that suffering is neither punishment nor a final sentence. At the core of Buddhist teaching is the idea that suffering arises when we resist the true nature of reality, impermanence, change, and the interconnectedness of all things. When we cling to youth, health, or relationships as permanent and unchanging, the loss or change in these brings suffering. But if we begin to see life as a river always flowing, always shifting, we start to find a different way to meet suffering, with openness, acceptance, and even kindness. Think about the seasons. In youth, spring feels endless, full of growth and energy. In late autumn, leaves fall and the air cools. The changes can feel like loss, but they also remind us of the natural rhythms of life. When suffering comes in later years, it invites us to accept these rhythms instead of fighting them. This acceptance does not mean giving up. It means embracing reality with a gentle heart. Suffering also connects deeply with what Buddhism calls dukkha. This word includes pain, discomfort, dissatisfaction, and a sense of yearning. It is the recognition that life, by its nature, is not always perfect or fully satisfying. But dukkha also points to a possibility. By understanding suffering, we can awaken to a deeper peace beyond temporary happiness or sorrow. Many people wonder, does suffering have to define old age? Buddhism would say no. Suffering is part of the human experience, but not all there is. Through awareness and mindful living, we can find moments of joy, gratitude, and connection even amid challenges. Cultivating mindfulness helps us see suffering clearly instead of being overwhelmed by it. When pain or sadness arises, mindfulness asks us to meet these feelings fully, without pushing them away or getting lost in them. Imagine watching a wave rise and fall in the ocean. We don't try to stop the wave. We simply watch it come and go. This kind of gentle witnessing softens suffering's grip. Another key insight Buddhism offers is the role of craving and aversion in suffering. Craving is the desire for things to be different than they are, wanting to hold on to youth, health, or loved ones unchanged. Aversion is the resistance to pain or loss. Both craving and aversion create a cycle of suffering that can trap the mind. Recognizing this cycle helps us break free. Rather than denying suffering or trying to fix it instantly, Buddhism invites us to practice patience and compassion towards ourselves. We learn to treat our pain with the same kindness we would offer a dear friend. This inner kindness opens a space where healing can begin. Suffering in later life also calls us to deepen our connection with others. When we share our vulnerabilities and listen with an open heart, we find comfort and understanding. We realize we are not alone, and this shared humanity brings warmth to our spirits. The Buddha himself experienced suffering and understood its reality fully. He taught that the way out of suffering is not through avoidance but through insight and transformation. By turning inward with courage, we discover that suffering can become a doorway to wisdom and compassion. In the quiet moments of aging, we might hear the gentle truth that life is precious precisely because it is fragile. This fragility invites us to live fully in the present, appreciating simple joys. A smile, a breath, a shared story, without clutching desperately to what was or what might be. Suffering also teaches us about impermanence, not just as an idea but as a lived experience. Knowing that all things pass helps us loosen our grasp on fear and regret. We learn to let go gently, finding freedom in each moment as it comes. This process is not easy, and it takes time. But with practice, the heart can grow soft and resilient, able to hold suffering and joy together without breaking. In the long view, suffering leads us to see the true nature of love and life. Love that clings causes pain, but love that accepts and flows freely brings peace. This is a love that can sustain us through life's final seasons. So, the nature of suffering in later life is both a challenge and a teacher. It calls us to awaken from illusions of permanence and embrace the present with mindfulness and compassion. By walking this path, we find that suffering no longer controls us. Instead, it becomes part of a journey toward deeper understanding, kindness, and freedom. In this understanding lies liberation, a space where the heart can rest, even amidst change. May this awareness bring warmth and peace to your days, lighting a gentle path through the natural changes of aging. The journey through suffering leads not to despair, but to wisdom, love, and a profound sense of being truly alive. Loneliness versus solitude, redefining companionship. As we journey into the later years of life, the experience of being alone can take on many forms. There is loneliness and then there is solitude, and though these words might seem similar, they hold very different meanings. Understanding this difference is a gentle but powerful teaching, especially when it comes to how we relate to ourselves and others after 60. Loneliness often feels like a heavy cloud, an ache that comes from feeling disconnected or isolated. It can make the heart feel empty and the mind restless. This kind of loneliness can bring sadness, fear, or even despair. It can whisper that we are forgotten, unloved, or invisible. Yet, loneliness is a natural feeling that everyone experiences from time to time. It signals a deep human need for connection, a longing for meaningful relationships and belonging. Solitude, on the other hand, is more like a quiet garden within the heart. It is the peaceful space where we can be fully ourselves, free from distractions, judgments, or demands. Solitude is not about running away from people, but about finding calm and clarity inside. It is a chance to listen to our own thoughts, to breathe deeply, and to rest in the present moment. In Buddhism, solitude is valued as a sacred time for reflection, healing, and spiritual growth. When we learn to see loneliness and solitude clearly, we can begin to shift our relationship with being alone. Instead of fearing loneliness as something bad or shameful, we can recognize it as a sign that we need to nurture connection. with ourselves and with others. And instead of confusing solitude with loneliness, we can embrace it as a beautiful gift that offers freedom and renewal. Many people worry that being alone means being lonely, but the wisdom of aging gently teaches us something else: that the quality of our alone time depends on how we relate to it. We can be surrounded by many people and still feel lonely if we lack deep connection. Conversely, we can be physically alone and feel deeply connected, peaceful, and content. To cultivate this peaceful solitude, mindfulness is a key practice. It asks us to be present with ourselves, to watch our feelings and thoughts without judgment. When loneliness arrives, instead of pushing it away, we can simply notice it. We might say to ourselves, "Here is loneliness," or "I feel a little lonely now." This simple recognition softens the feeling. We no longer fight against it, and it gradually loses its power to overwhelm. Solitude also invites us to discover who we truly are beyond roles, expectations, or the presence of others. It is a time to tap into our inner wisdom, creativity, and peace. Like sitting quietly by a still pond, solitude reflects back to us our true nature, a precious being deserving of love and care. In later life, solitude can become a friend that offers perspective and strength. It helps us recharge, connect with our spiritual selves, and appreciate the small wonders of life around us. The morning sun, the song of birds, the gentle rhythm of our breathing. Buddhism teaches that solitude is not the absence of connection, but a deeper kind of connection with life itself. When we are comfortable being alone, we are less dependent on others for our happiness. This doesn't mean we don't cherish relationships. Rather, it means we bring a whole heart to our connections, not out of neediness but out of genuine love and presence. Loneliness can also be transformed through reaching out with kindness and compassion. Simple acts like talking with a friend, joining community groups, or volunteering can bridge the gap between being alone and feeling connected. But these efforts are most powerful when they come from a place of inner peace and self-acceptance, not from desperation or fear of being alone. Knowing that loneliness is common and natural helps lessen its sting. Sometimes sharing feelings of loneliness openly can create unexpected bonds, reminding us of our shared human experience. In the middle of loneliness, there is an opportunity to turn inward and cultivate self-compassion. When we treat ourselves as gently as we would a dear friend, we begin to heal. We learn that the heart has a vast capacity for comfort and love, even when it is alone. There is a story in Buddhism of a monk who sat silently in a forest, alone yet full of peace. He did not seek company to fill a void, but found companionship in the flowing river, the wind in the trees, and the quiet presence of his own breath. This is the solitude that nourishes the soul. For those over 60, embracing solitude with this gentle understanding can transform the experience of aging. It becomes less about what is lost and more about discovering new ways to be present, to the self, to nature, and to the mystery of life. In this space, loneliness softens and solitude blossoms. Our hearts open to both the joy of connection and the peace of being quietly whole. The dance between loneliness and solitude invites us to live more fully, with courage and tenderness. We learn to appreciate the company we have, with others and with ourselves. As your heart learns this balance, may you find comfort in the quiet moments and warmth in the connections that arise naturally. Through understanding and gentle practice, solitude is no longer empty but filled with the richness of the present moment. This new way of companionship is a gift of later life, a gentle, wise love that welcomes all feelings and embraces life as it unfolds. May you walk this path with kindness toward yourselves, knowing that both loneliness and solitude have something precious to teach us. And as each day passes, may your heart become a quiet sanctuary, a place of deep rest and true belonging. Embracing impermanence, a late life perspective. Life is always moving, always changing. Nothing stays the same. Not our bodies, our feelings, the people around us, nor the world itself. This truth, called impermanence, is at the heart of Buddhist teaching. It is both a challenge and a great gift. Understanding impermanence can transform the way we see aging, love, loss, and even death. In the later years of life, embracing impermanence becomes one of the most important healing lessons. Imagine holding a beautiful flower. At first, it is bright and fresh, full of color and fragrance. But in time, the petals begin to fade and fall. Holding tightly to the flower won't stop these changes. The flower is always moving through its own cycle, blooming, withering, and becoming something new. Life works the same way. Recognizing this natural flow helps us to live more peacefully. Many people feel afraid of change. Especially after 60, change often feels overwhelming. We see ourselves becoming more fragile, lose friends we cherish, or face challenges we never imagined. It's natural to want things to stay the same. Our health, our memories, our relationships. We tell ourselves stories about, if only this could last forever. But when we deny impermanence, we create suffering. The harder we cling, the more our hearts ache when change comes. Buddhism gently encourages us to see impermanence not as an enemy but as the way things truly are. This seeing can open a space of deep freedom inside. When we accept that everything changes, we stop fighting what is happening. We begin to live each moment fully, because we know it is precious and will not return again. Embracing impermanence asks us to look directly at aging itself. Instead of resisting wrinkles, aches, or shifts in energy, we learn to welcome them with kindness. These changes are signs of life's natural unfolding. They remind us that we have grown, learned, loved, and lived. Like the seasons, each chapter of life offers its own beauty and wisdom. This perspective softens the fear of loss. When we realize that people, including ourselves, are always changing, we begin to treasure each encounter more deeply. A smile, a touch, a shared word become sacred gifts because they are transient. This doesn't make parting easy, but it helps us hold memories with compassion rather than pain. The Buddha taught that nothing lasting comes from clinging to what is impermanent. Instead, peace comes from flowing with life's changes. This is a kind of bravery, to meet each day with openness and acceptance, even when uncertainty feels close. It's not about giving up hope, but trusting the natural rhythm of life. One way to embrace impermanence is through meditation and mindfulness. Sitting quietly and watching our breath, thoughts, and feelings arise and pass away gently trains the mind to experience change without fear. We witness how moments appear and fade like clouds in the sky or waves in the ocean. This practice helps us live with less resistance and more grace. Impermanence also teaches us humility. We see that no matter how much we plan or wish, life moves in ways beyond our control. This humility encourages us to let go of rigid expectations, to be more patient with ourselves and others. It dissolves the tight grip of pride or regret and allows us to be present as simple human beings. In the late chapters of life, embracing impermanence becomes a path to freedom. When we know everything changes, We stop trying to possess or hold tight to life's joyful moments. Instead, we learn to receive them like a clear sky welcomes sunlight and rain, not holding on to anything, just being open to what comes. This deep acceptance brings peace. It helps soften the pain of saying goodbye to loved ones or facing one's own mortality. Instead of fearing death, we can see it as a natural transition, like the setting sun that promises a new dawn somewhere beyond our sight. Many elders find a profound calm in this wisdom. They may lose much in the world but gain an inner richness, a spaciousness in the heart that no loss can touch. This spaciousness lets love flow freely, without clinging or fear. Impermanence also invites us to live with gratitude. When we see that every moment is unique and fleeting, we naturally begin to appreciate simple things more. The warmth of the sun, a gentle breeze, a laugh with a friend. Life's small joys become treasures. Look at the river flowing quietly through the valley. The water is never the same from one moment to the next, yet it continues with steady grace, carving its path through stone and earth. We too can learn to flow through life's changes, embracing impermanence with courage and compassion. It is important to understand that embracing impermanence is not about indifference or sorrow. Instead, it is an invitation to love more deeply and fully. When we know things won't last forever, our love can become more genuine, less needy, and more freeing. This view gently shifts how we think about relationships after 60. Instead of holding tightly or fearing loneliness, we appreciate those we cherish while allowing space for change. We love without possession, gratitude without expectation. Learning impermanence also helps us release regrets about the past and worries about the future. We begin to live in the present moment, where life actually unfolds. This moment, right now, is the only place where peace can be found. Like a wise old tree bending with the wind without breaking, embracing impermanence offers strength in softness. It teaches us resilience, the ability to receive life as it comes, without rigidity or fear. This peaceful strength is an invaluable gift in later lives. It brings calmness in facing illness, loss, or uncertainty. It helps us accept ourselves fully as we are now. Impermanence reminds us that each sunset, each breath, each heartbeat is unique and will never come again. This awareness can fill the heart with awe and wonder, deepening our connection to life. With a heart aware of impermanence, we also begin to see the beauty in change. The way old memories shine like reflections in a pond, the way new friendships grow like spring buds. Life is a continuous dance of beginnings and endings, and this dance is sacred. So, embracing impermanence in late life is not about sadness or giving up. It is about waking up to reality with open eyes and an open heart. It is about walking gently on the earth, knowing that everything is connected and always moving. This deep, gentle wisdom invites us to live more fully, love more freely, and face aging with peace instead of fear. May this understanding soften your heart, bring light to your path, and help you find joy in the ever-changing journey of life. Life flows on, always changing, always new. Embrace it kindly. Liberation from expectations in relationships. As we travel through life, we carry with us many stories about what love and relationships should be. Especially after 60, these stories can become heavy burdens, expectations that weigh down our hearts and cloud the simple joy of connection. Buddhism invites us to let go of these burdens, to free ourselves from rigid ideas about how relationships must unfold. This liberation opens the door to a gentler, freer kind of love, one that brings peace rather than struggle. Think about a garden. We might hope that every flower will bloom perfectly, at just the right time, growing exactly as we imagine. But nature does not always follow our plans. Some flowers bloom early, some late, some not at all. When we expect too much from the garden, we miss the simple beauty of what is. Relationships, like gardens, thrive best when we allow them room to grow naturally, without forcing them to meet our expectations. Expectations in relationships often come from long-held beliefs and experiences. They shape what we think love should look like, how a partner behaves, how close we must be, how often we connect, or the roles each person plays. When reality doesn't match these expectations, disappointment, hurt, or frustration arise. This is especially true after 60, when life may have changed our circumstances, roles, and priorities. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to expectations creates a form of suffering. We cling to "this is how it must be," rather than accepting "this is how it is." This attachment narrows our hearts and limits the true potential of our relationships. It can blind us to the beauty of what already exists, hidden behind the veil of disappointment. Imagine you are holding a precious cup, expecting it to be filled with your favorite tea. If the cup is filled with something else like water or coffee, how do you react? If your heart tightly clings to the idea of tea, you may feel upset or dissatisfied. But if you open your heart to whatever is offered, you can drink with gratitude and peace. This openness reflects the wisdom of letting go of expectations. In the journey after 60, shifting our relationship with expectations is not always easy. Years of life have shaped habits and hopes that run deep. But this shift is kind and freeing. It allows us to meet each moment and each person with openness, to appreciate who they are now, rather than who we wish them to be. When we free ourselves from expectations, we breathe fresh air into our connections. We begin to listen more deeply, speak more honestly, and accept others with kindness rather than resistance. This frees relationships from conflict born of unmet demands. The Buddha's teachings on non-attachment do not mean we stop caring. On the contrary, they invite us to love more fully, with a heart that is present and flexible. We learn to cherish people not because they fit our expectations, but because they are unique and changing beings, just like us. This liberation also extends to how we love ourselves. After 60, self-expectations can be strong about how we should look, act, or live. When we hold tightly to these ideas, self-criticism and disappointment may arise. Buddhism encourages us to practice self-compassion, releasing ourselves from harsh judgments and embracing our true, imperfect selves. Relationships thrive in this space of freedom. Whether with a partner, family, friends, or community, love blossoms through acceptance rather than control. We find joy in simple moments, shared laughter, quiet companionship, thoughtful presence, without demanding more. Letting go of expectations also helps us handle change gracefully. As health, roles, and interests shift in later life, relationships naturally evolve. This evolution can be confusing or painful if we cling to old patterns. But with a heart free from fixed ideas, we can welcome new ways of being together, discovering unexpected beauty. There is a story of a wise elder who cared deeply for his companion but did not expect the other to behave in any fixed way. He loved with openness, forgiving mistakes, and celebrating small joys. Their relationship, rooted in freedom from expectation, became a source of healing and peace. In Buddhist practice, mindfulness helps us become aware of the expectations we carry. When we notice them arising, we can gently question, is this expectation helpful? Is it true? Can I allow space for something different? This simple pause can dissolve tension and cultivate understanding. Compassion also softens the grip of expectations. When we remember that others carry their own fears, hopes, and limitations, we become more patient and forgiving. We accept that no one is perfect, and neither are relationships. This acceptance opens the heart to real connection, the kind that embraces flaws as part of shared humanity. By letting go of expectations, we also open to gratitude. We begin to notice the many gifts present in our relationships, no matter how small or unexpected. A kind word, a moment of understanding, a shared memory, all become precious treasures that enrich our later years. Liberation from expectations does not mean we lose boundaries or stop caring. It means acting with wisdom and love rather than fear and need. We learn to say yes or no with honesty, guided by respect for ourselves and others. This freedom fosters trust, the trust that love can flow naturally without force. It invites us to embrace vulnerability courageously, knowing that true connection arises from authenticity, not from fulfilling a script. As we release expectations, we begin to live fully in each relationship's unique present moment. We celebrate the simple gift of presence, the miracle of meeting another life, no matter how brief or long-lasting. This way of loving resonates deeply with the Buddha's wisdom, that all things arise and pass, and only by flowing with this truth can we find peace. In relationships, as in life, holding too tightly breaks the fragile threads of connection. But holding lightly with kindness creates space for love's true nature to shine. In this gentle holding, love after 60 becomes a practice of freedom, a daily choice to see and accept, to cherish and release, to connect and let go. It teaches that the greatest gift is not possession, but presence, not demand, but understanding. Through this liberation, relationships become a source of deep joy and comfort, not pain or struggle. They become places where the heart can rest, healed from old burdens and open to new possibilities. So walk softly on this path, friend. Notice the expectations that bind you, and breathe them out gently. Welcome each moment, each person just as they are. Love without chains, and in that freedom, find the peace and richness life offers at every age. Self-compassion as the core of fulfillment. As we move deeper into the journey of life, especially after 60, one truth becomes clearer and more essential than ever: the need for self-compassion. It is a gentle, quiet force that supports us through the challenges of aging, loss, and change. Buddhism teaches that before we can truly love others, we must learn to love ourselves, not in pride or arrogance, but in kindness and understanding. Self-compassion is the heart's way of offering care to itself, especially when times are hard. To understand self-compassion, imagine a small child who has stumbled and fallen. What does the child need most? A soft word, a gentle hand, and reassurance that everything will be okay. This is the compassion we often instinctively give to others. But how often do we offer this same tenderness to ourselves when life knocks us down? In later years, when the body may ache or the heart feel lonely, self-compassion becomes a balm, a steady friend we can always turn to. Many people grow up with voices inside that judge them harshly, telling them they are not enough, too slow, too different, too frail. These inner critics grow louder as the years pass, especially when we face difficulties like illness, loss of independence, or changes in relationships. Buddhism shows us how these harsh voices are just thoughts, not truths, and that we can transform our relationship with ourselves through genuine kindness. Self-compassion is not self-pity or indulgence. It is a wise, caring presence that acknowledges suffering without giving in to despair. It is a warm acceptance of all parts of ourselves, the strong and weak, the joyful and sad, the confident and uncertain. In this acceptance, the heart can soften, and healing begins. Practicing self-compassion starts with awareness. When pain arises, whether physical, emotional, or mental, we pause instead of rushing away or pushing it down. We take a deep breath and bring a kind intention to ourselves. We might say in our mind, "May I be kind to myself," or "It's okay to feel this way." This simple act of noticing and caring is the seed of self-compassion. In Buddhism, the idea of metta or loving kindness is closely linked to self-compassion. Metta meditation invites us to direct warm wishes first to ourselves. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. By offering these wishes to ourselves, we build a foundation of love that naturally extends to others. After 60, self-compassion helps us face the inevitable changes and losses with resilience. It teaches us patience when the body does not move as freely as before or the mind feels tired. Instead of frustration or anger, we learn to acknowledge these moments kindly, understanding that we are human and that all beings experience change. Self-compassion also softens feelings of regret or guilt about the past. Many elders carry memories of times when they wished they had done things differently. Buddhism encourages us to meet these feelings without harsh judgment, recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to grow and to forgive, starting with oneself. This gentle attitude frees us from the heavy burden of should have or could have. Instead, we create space for healing and for seeing that who we are now is enough, worthy of love and respect. When we treat ourselves with compassion, our relationships with others naturally improve. We become less demanding, less fearful, and more present. The love we offer ourselves multiplies, allowing us to give freely without expecting anything in return. Consider the analogy of a vessel. If the cup is cracked or empty, it cannot pour water into another. But when the vessel is full and whole, it can nourish many others. Self-compassion fills us so that we may pour love and kindness into the world more abundantly. In daily life, self-compassion can be practiced through simple acts. Resting when tired, speaking kindly to oneself, forgiving mistakes, and honoring one's needs without shame. It might be taking a warm bath, enjoying a walk in nature, or simply pausing to breathe deeply during a difficult moment. Buddhist teachings remind us that self-compassion is a practice, one that we return to again and again. It may feel unfamiliar or even awkward at first, especially if we have been our own harshest critics for many years. But with patience and persistence, it becomes a natural way of being. This path of self-compassion also invites humility. We recognize that imperfection is a shared human experience, and in that recognition, we connect more deeply with ourselves and others. We stop comparing and competing, and instead, embrace our shared vulnerability. There is a story of a wise Zen monk who explained that the flower does not judge itself for blooming late or fading early. It simply blooms fully in its own time. Likewise, we can learn to be gentle with ourselves, flourishing in our own rhythm without harsh expectation. After 60, self-compassion is a key to true fulfillment. It nurtures the soul through the uncertainties of aging and the challenges it brings. It helps us find joy not in perfect circumstances, but in the simple act of caring for ourselves each day. Through self-compassion, we awaken to a deep inner peace that is not dependent on external conditions. This peace is a quiet light, steady and unwavering, guiding us gently through life's twilight years. In this warm embrace of self-kindness, love transforms from a seeking force to a steady presence. We begin to see that the heart's greatest need is not perfection or achievement, but acceptance and gentle care. May this understanding inspire you to treat yourself with the tenderness you deserve. With each breath, may your heart open more fully to kindness, to forgiveness, and to the fullness of who you are right now. For in self-compassion lies a profound freedom, a refuge where the spirit can rest, rejuvenate, and shine brightly, no matter what life brings. This is the gift of aging gracefully, to meet oneself with love and to find in that love the true source of happiness and fulfillment. The role of mindfulness in emotional stability. As we travel deeper into the later seasons of life, the mind and heart often experience many currents: joys and sorrows, hopes and fears, calm and restlessness. These changes are natural, yet sustaining emotional balance amidst such ebb and flow can be challenging. Here, the Buddhist practice of mindfulness becomes a gentle, powerful guide, a steady light that helps us stay grounded, centered, and peaceful. Mindfulness means paying attention, truly noticing what is happening right now without trying to change it, judge it, or push it away. It is the art of being present, fully awake to our inner and outer experiences. In later life, mindfulness offers the gift of clarity, helping us observe feelings and thoughts as visitors, not threats, passing clouds, not storms. This simple awareness can transform how we relate to emotions, especially when life brings loss, uncertainty, or change. Imagine sitting quietly by a river and watching leaves float gently on the surface. Sometimes the water is still, other times it ripples with the wind. With mindfulness, we learn to watch our emotions in the same way, acknowledging them, allowing them to move without clinging or resistance. This practice softens the grip of painful feelings like anxiety, sadness, and loneliness, creates space where peace can grow. In our younger years, emotions often surge like wild horses, moving quickly and sometimes uncontrollably. After 60, practicing mindfulness can help us become calm horse riders, guiding these emotional steeds gently without being pulled into turmoil. Rather than reacting automatically to old fears or hurts, we respond with awareness and kindness. One of the deepest teachings of Buddhism is that all things, emotions, thoughts, even our sense of self, are impermanent and changing. Mindfulness lets us see clearly how feelings arise, reach a peak, and then fade away. Knowing this prevents us from identifying too strongly with any one emotion. It teaches us that no feeling lasts forever, and no storm remains without a calm. When we are mindful, we can recognize early signs of distress: a tightening in the chest, a racing mind, a sinking heart, and gently bring our attention to the present breath or body sensations. This simple shift breaks the cycle of worry or sadness before it deepens, offering relief in the present moment. Sometimes, difficult emotions might still rise strongly. Mindfulness doesn't mean avoiding or suppressing them. Rather, it invites us to meet these moments with gentle curiosity. We ask ourselves, what am I feeling right now? Where do I notice it in my body? What does this emotion want to tell me? This accepting attitude creates a healing connection rather than adding to our pain. Another aspect of mindfulness is non-judgment. Often, we hate or resist certain feelings, calling them bad or wrong. But in mindfulness, we learn to welcome each emotion as part of the human experience. Sadness is allowed to be sad. Fear is simply fear. This acceptance softens suffering because it stops the struggle inside. For many elders, mindfulness also brings freedom from regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. The mind often spins stories of if only or what if, trapping us in worries. Mindfulness gently pulls attention back to the now, where life truly unfolds. In this present moment, we find the power to respond wisely instead of reacting automatically. The breath is one of the easiest and most powerful anchors to mindfulness. It is always with us, a natural rhythm that connects body and mind. Focusing on the breath helps calm restless thoughts and soothes emotional storms. Taking just a few mindful breaths during moments of tension can restore balance and peace. There are many simple mindfulness practices that can support emotional stability in later lives. Sitting quietly each day and observing the breath and sensations. Walking slowly and noticing each step. Eating with full attention to the taste, smell, and texture of food. These small acts train the mind to be present and gentle. When practiced regularly, mindfulness builds resilience. It strengthens the inner space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose kindness and calm over reactivity. This inner steadiness is especially precious after 60 when life's uncertainties may feel larger. Mindfulness also deepens our connection with the body, a wise and sacred home for the mind. As the body ages and changes, tuning into its signals can guide us to care for ourselves tenderly. Noticing tension, fatigue, or comfort helps us act mindfully rather than ignoring needs or pushing too hard. The heart of mindfulness is compassion towards ourselves and others. When we are mindful, we see our own struggles clearly and treat ourselves with kindness. This self-compassion naturally extends outward, softening relationships and easing loneliness. There is a beautiful story of a Zen master who taught that the mind is like a clear lake. When disturbed by waves, the reflection becomes blurry, but once stillness returns, the lake reflects the sky perfectly again. Mindfulness teaches us how to bring stillness back to the mind, no matter what surface disturbances arise. Daily life after 60 may bring moments of emotional turbulence. Mindfulness does not promise to remove all difficulty, but offers a way to meet these experiences without being overwhelmed. It is a faithful companion on the path of aging gracefully, helping the heart stay open and balanced. Many seniors find that mindfulness supports better sleep, lowers stress, and increases joy in simple moments. It helps us savor the present, the warmth of sunlight, the laughter of grandchildren, the beauty of a blooming flower. These moments, fully appreciated, are the true treasures of life. With mindfulness, we learn that emotional stability is not about shutting down feelings or pretending to be strong. It is about embracing the full range of emotions with gentle awareness and acceptance. It is about knowing that we can hold both joy and sorrow without being broken. In the silence of mindful presence, the heart finds its true nature, a calm, loving essence that remains untouched by passing moods. This steady core is a refuge and strength as we navigate the changing currents of later lives. Mindfulness also prepares us for all inevitable passages, to health challenges, to loss, and ultimately to death. When practiced over time, it reduces fear by grounding us in what is real and present. It helps us face each moment with courage and grace, The practice of mindfulness is accessible to everyone, at any age. No special skills or conditions are needed, only a willingness to be present and kind. Each breath offers a fresh chance to begin again. By cultivating mindfulness daily, we nurture emotional balance and deepen our understanding of life's flow. We become steady like a mountain, flexible like a tree in the wind, responsive yet rooted. May this gentle awareness be a comforting presence in your lives. May it help you meet each feeling with kindness, each moment with openness, and each day with peace. Through the practice of mindfulness, your heart can rest quietly, no longer tossed by storms, but resting in calm, steady light. In this calmness, true emotional stability blooms, a precious gift for your soul's journey after 60 and beyond. Interdependence without attachment. In the gentle unfolding of life after 60, one of the deepest truths that Buddhism invites us to understand is the nature of interdependence. Everything and everyone is connected, like threads woven together in a vast tapestry. We are not separate islands drifting alone, but parts of a whole, flowing and changing with the world. Yet, this connection can sometimes be misunderstood. It may lead us to cling tightly to relationships or to fear losing others, causing pain and suffering. The teaching of interdependence without attachment helps us find a way to relate that is both deeply connected and peacefully free. Imagine a great tree in a forest. Its branches reach far, leaves rustling in the wind. But those branches are not alone. They are nourished by roots intertwined with other trees, by soil, by rain, and by the sun. This tree depends on many elements to grow and live. Similarly, our lives are supported by a web of relationships: family, friends, community, nature, and even the air we breathe. Recognizing this interdependence is to see that nothing exists truly alone. In our later years, understanding interdependence helps us appreciate the vast support that makes life possible. It reminds us that we are deeply cared for by many seen and unseen forces. Yet, when love is mixed with attachment, when holding on too tightly to people or things, we bring suffering upon ourselves. Buddhism teaches that we can love fully without grasping or clinging. This is love rooted in freedom. Attachment can make us anxious, afraid of loss, of change, of separation. We may want to control others or hold them close like precious possessions. But this very holding tight can create pain and, ironically, distance. The nature of interdependence invites a different approach. A love that is open, generous, and accepting of life's flow. Think of a flowing river. Water supports the trees along its banks, carries nutrients, and sustains life in many forms. But the river does not hold onto the banks. It moves freely, changing shape as it travels. Love and connection are like that river, supportive and nourishing but not possessive or fixed. When we understand interdependence, we see that we influence others, and they influence us. Our well-being is tied to theirs, not in a controlling way, but in a gentle dance of presence and care. This understanding invites humility. We cannot do everything alone, and we don't have to. Life's beauty emerges in this shared existence. After 60, this teaching can be a great comfort. It helps us release the heavy burden of feeling solely responsible for others or for our own happiness. We recognize that life is a mutual unfolding, where support flows in all directions. This awareness frees the heart to love without suffocation. In practical terms, practicing interdependence without attachment means appreciating relationships as precious but not as prisons. It means being fully present with others, listening deeply, and giving kindness while allowing space. It means letting go of possessiveness or unrealistic demands. This freedom also extends inward. Just as we can be overly attached to others, we can cling to a fixed self-image, how we think we should be at this age or rule. Interdependence calls us to recognize that we are always changing, shaped by countless conditions and connections. This opens space for compassion toward ourselves as well. Mindfulness helps us see when attachment arises in relationships. When we notice possessive thoughts or fears, we gently remind ourselves, all things are connected, all things change. With this reminder, the grip loosens, and we breathe more freely. There is a beautiful story about a bamboo grove that sways together in the wind. Each stalk moves with the others, bending but not breaking. Alone, a stalk might snap. Together, they support each other even in the fiercest storms. This is the strength of interdependence, flexible, connected, and free. In aging, we often face changes in relationships. Friends may pass away, family roles shift, loneliness may visit. Interdependence teaches us to cherish each connection while understanding its impermanence. It encourages us to find new ways to relate, to open to community, and to offer support as it is needed. This teaching also gently detaches us from the idea that love must look a certain way. Love can be a smile, a word, a kind thought, even if separated by distance or silence. It is not measured by presence alone, but by the quality of our hearts. Living with interdependence without attachment calls upon us to practice gratitude. Gratitude for the vast network of life that sustains us, for those who came before us, for the helpers and friends we have now, and even for those we may never meet but who support life's flow. This gratitude softens the heart and expands it, allowing love to flow freely without grasping or needing to hold. It becomes a river flowing wide, nourishing all beings, including ourselves. In the quiet moments of later life, you may sense the invisible threads connecting you to the stars, the earth, the people around you, and the future generations to come. This awareness is a profound source of peace and belonging. Interdependence without attachment frees us from the loneliness of feeling isolated. It comforts us with the truth that we are part of an endless tapestry, woven by countless hands and hearts. This knowledge is a balm, a healing embrace that holds the heart tenderly. As you walk your path, remember that your life touches many others, even beyond what you see. Your smile, your care, your presence ripple outwards in ways both seen and mysterious. And just as you are supported, so too do you support. This interconnected dance teaches us humility, kindness, and freedom. It dissolves the walls of fear and pride, opening to a love that is vast and unconditional. In learning this, love after 60 becomes a gentle river flowing through a forest of endless connections. Never alone, never grasping, always free. May this understanding bring warmth to your heart and a soft smile to your face. May you live with open hands, trusting the beautiful web of life that holds us all. In this knowing, the heart finds its true home, steady and loving, in the great community of being. The pitfalls of seeking validation in old age. As we move gently into the later chapters of life, a common and often quiet struggle is the need for validation. That deep desire to be seen, appreciated, and accepted by others. This yearning touches many hearts after 60, especially when changes in health, social roles, or family relationships may shift how we feel about ourselves. Yet, Buddhism offers profound guidance to help us understand this need. its challenges, and how to find a peaceful way beyond endless seeking. Imagine a beautiful lantern carried on a windy night. We may depend on the light it offers to guide our steps and keep fears away. But if the lantern's flame is kept alive only by the wind's favor, it can flicker and falter unpredictably. Validation from others is much like this fragile flame. When it depends solely on external approval, it becomes unstable and can leave us feeling lost when that approval is absent or changes. Seeking validation is a very human impulse. From childhood onward, we learn to look outside ourselves for affirmation, to feel worthy when others praise us, notice us, or include us. This longing does not disappear with age. In fact, life's changes can sometimes make it feel stronger, as the roles that once gave us identity may shift or fade. We might ask, am I still important? Do I still matter? These questions can fill the heart with worry or sadness. Buddhism gently invites us to explore these feelings carefully and lovingly. It reminds us that relying heavily on external validation is a path that can lead to suffering. When we depend on others' opinions for our happiness and self-worth, we hand over our peace to things beyond our control. People's feelings and behaviors are fluid. They come and go like the seasons. If our sense of self is tethered tightly to these changing winds, we suffer from uncertainty and fear. This is the subtle trap of seeking validation after 60. It can limit freedom and deepen feelings of loneliness when acceptance is absent. It can cause us to adjust ourselves endlessly, to hide aspects of our true selves, or to feel invisible when overlooked. This chasing can exhaust the spirit and cloud the natural beauty of who we are. However, Buddhism offers a luminous alternative. It encourages cultivating an inner validation, a steady, kind acceptance of oneself that is not shaken by external changes. This inner refuge is like a deep well of calm that remains clear and full, even when the surface around it ripples or storms arise. To begin this shift, mindfulness is a trusted ally. We can observe moments when the heart craves approval, when we notice ourselves seeking praise, fearing judgment, or comparing to others. Instead of reacting harshly or trying to suppress these feelings, mindfulness advises gentle curiosity. Here is the wish to be seen. Here is the longing to be loved. Recognizing these impulses without self-judgment weakens their control over us. We also learn from the Buddha that true worth does not come from what others think, but from the way we treat ourselves and all beings with kindness and honesty. When we see ourselves with compassion, flaws and all, we start to realize that our true nature is beyond praise or blame. It is our capacity to simply be, fully and bravely present in this moment, that makes us valuable. Finding this inner validation can feel like returning home after a long journey. It means resting in the simple fact of existence, without the need to prove or perform. It opens the heart to peace, grounded not on applause but on self-awareness and love. This process is not about arrogance or ignoring the feelings of others. Rather, it is about balancing external connection with a strong inner foundation. We cherish relationships and appreciate kindness from others, but do not rely on them to define our worth. There is a beautiful teaching in Buddhism called the mirror of the mind. Just as a mirror reflects whatever stands before it without preference or rejection, our inner mind can reflect all experiences with calm clarity. When we cultivate this mirror mind, the need for external validation softens. We see ourselves and others clearly, without distortion from craving or fear. In later life, practicing this clarity can transform how we relate to compliments, criticism, or indifference. We can receive praise with gratitude, but not let it inflate the ego. Likewise, we hear criticism without falling into self-doubt. And when overlooked, we do not shrink but rest firmly in our own light. Another gentle practice is nurturing gratitude for the gifts we already hold. Our experiences, our wisdom, the breath in our lungs, and the moments of connection, however small. Gratitude nourishes the heart and loosens the grip of longing for more validation. Community and companionship remain important. But in this view, relationships are not cages of dependency but gardens of mutual care. We give and receive support freely, knowing that each person, including ourselves, is a whole world already complete. Letting go of the need for constant validation also brings freedom from the exhausting work of trying to meet everyone's expectations. It offers permission to rest, to be imperfect, and to embrace authenticity. This liberation brings relief, a heart unburdened by endless striving. It is natural sometimes to seek reassurance or help. Buddhism honors this human need but teaches us to temper it with wise understanding. When we see clearly the difference between healthy connection and grasping for validation, we find balance. The elder wisdom reminds us that after 60, life is less about proving who we are and more about simply being who we are, in all our unique beauty and impermanence. This acceptance is a gift we can give ourselves each day. We may practice affirming ourselves gently. May I be at peace with who I am. May I be kind to my heart. May I find refuge within. These simple phrases nurture self-validation and calm the restless seeking. Finally, extending this compassion outward, we recognize that everyone carries this same hunger for acceptance. In seeing this shared humanity, our hearts soften and our connections deepen without needing constant validation in return. In this spacious heart, the need to be seen shifts into a knowing that we are already enough. The burden of needing others' approval lightens. Love becomes freer, and peace grows steadily. May this understanding help you walk lightly and softly, with a heart that rests peacefully within, shining steadily, no matter the winds around. Through releasing the pitfalls of seeking validation, life after 60 opens to a gentler, wiser love, rooted firmly in the quiet strength of your true self, creating inner peace. Meditation for seniors. As the years pass and we enter the later stages of life, the mind often becomes busy with many thoughts, memories of the past, worries about health or family, hopes and fears about the future. These mental waves can stir unrest, making the heart feel restless and the spirit heavy. Yet, within each of us lies a quiet place, a stillness that does not fade with age but grows deeper when we learn how to find it. Meditation, a timeless practice embraced by Buddhism, is the gentle path that leads us home to this inner peace. Imagine a clear pond on a calm morning. When the wind is still and no one disturbs it, the water becomes smooth and reflective, mirroring the blue sky and the trees around it. Meditation is like settling the pond of the mind. When we allow thoughts and feelings to rest gently, the mind calms and reveals its natural clarity and peace underneath. Many seniors feel surprised when they discover meditation. It is not about emptying the mind or forcing stillness. It is about welcoming whatever arises with kindness and openness. When we sit quietly and observe breath, thoughts, or sensations, we practice seeing clearly the flow of life, moment by moment, without needing to hold or push anything away. This simple act of attention is like planting seeds of peace inside. With patience and regular practice, these seeds grow into a deep calm that supports us through challenges, illness, loss, loneliness, or changes in daily life. Meditation becomes a comforting refuge, a friend we can return to any time. In Buddhism, meditation is called bhavana, meaning cultivation. Just as a gardener cares for plants, we cultivate qualities like patience, kindness, and wisdom within ourselves. Meditation helps us do this by quieting the distractions of the mind and allowing the heart to soften. One beautiful meditation for seniors is focusing on the breath. The breath is always with us. It flows gently in and out like the rhythm of life itself. By placing our attention on breathing, we anchor ourselves in the present moment. When the mind wanders, which it naturally will, we gently guide it back without judgment. This practice trains the mind to become less reactive and more peaceful. Another approach is loving kindness meditation, known as metta. In this practice, we silently repeat phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be safe, may I be peaceful." These wishes of goodwill begin with ourselves, because how we treat our own hearts matters deeply. As the practice deepens, we extend these wishes to others, family, friends, even those we find difficult. This softens the heart and brings a sense of warmth and connection. Seniors often face physical or mental challenges that make sitting for long periods difficult. Fortunately, meditation is flexible. It can be done sitting on a chair, lying down, or even walking slowly with mindful steps. What matters is the quality of attention, not the position of the body. Regular meditation also helps reduce stress and anxiety, improves sleep, and fosters a feeling of connection with all life. In the quiet of meditation, many find the clarity to forgive past hurts, release regrets, and open to gratitude for life's simple blessings. A common fear is that meditation requires stopping thoughts, but that is not the goal. Thoughts will come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. The practice is to watch them gently without getting caught up or carried away. This gentle witnessing becomes a powerful way to create space between stimulus and reaction, a safe harbor for the mind. The Buddha himself emphasized meditation as a way to directly experience the true nature of reality. Through meditation, we become aware of impermanence, not just in ideas but as a felt experience. We see how feelings, sensations, and thoughts arise and pass naturally. This insight helps dissolve clinging and fear, leading to deeper freedom. Meditation also invites us to connect with the present as a precious gift. Often, the mind is busy regretting the past or worrying about the future. Through meditation, we learn to rest in the now, where life actually happens. This presence is where peace and joy lives. Practicing meditation with kindness toward ourselves is especially important as we age. Sometimes impatience or self-criticism arises. "I can't sit still," or "my mind is too busy." These thoughts are natural, but they need not stop the practice. Instead, we greet ourselves with the same gentleness we would offer a loved one facing difficulty. In group settings, meditation can foster a sense of community, reminding us we are not alone on this path. Sharing moments of silence, reflection, and gentle encouragement creates bonds beyond words. There is a traditional story of an elderly monk who, despite frail body and fading eyesight, spent each day meditating with gentle persistence. His calm presence touched many and reminded all that true strength comes not from physical power but from a peaceful mind and open heart. For those new to meditation, starting with just a few minutes a day is enough. Even short, consistent practice builds a foundation for calm and insight. Over time, this foundation supports walking through life's challenges with grace and resilience. Meditation bridges the outer and inner worlds. As the body changes, the mind learns adaptability and steadiness. The heart grows open, less entangled in worries, more anchored in trust. In every breath taken mindfully, there is a chance to reconnect with life's quiet beauty. A single breath can be a touchstone, a reminder that we are alive, here, and worthy of peace. In meditation, we discover that inner peace is not distant or elusive. It is always present, waiting beneath the noise of daily life, accessible whenever we choose to come home. This peace is the true companion for aging, a refuge that holds us tenderly, a light shining steadily through life's changing seasons. May your meditation practice bring you comfort and clarity. May it deepen your connection to yourself and the world. And may it foster a gentle peace that carries you softly on this sacred journey of later life. With each mindful breath, may your heart find its quiet center, calm, open, and deeply at peace. Cultivating detachment, Buddhist technique. As life flows gently into the later years, we often find ourselves surrounded by many things: possessions, memories, relationships, habits, and expectations that can unknowingly bind our hearts. Sometimes this binding takes the form of attachment, a holding on that causes subtle suffering. Buddhism invites us to cultivate detachment, a loving, gentle loosening of the grip that can free the heart and bring peace. But detachment here does not mean coldness or indifference. It means a balanced, wise way of relating to life, fully present yet free from clinging. To begin understanding detachment, imagine holding a bird in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly, the bird cannot breathe or fly. But if you hold your hand gently open, the bird feels safe, may even rest a moment, and is free to fly when it chooses. This is the nature of detachment, a careful, tender holding without grasping. In the teachings of Buddhism, detachment is called upekkha, often translated as equanimity or even-mindedness. It is a state where the mind remains calm and balanced, neither swept away by desire nor pushed down by aversion. This equanimity is the foundation upon which detachment rests. Cultivating detachment is especially important after 60, when we face changes, loss of loved ones, fading health, shifting rules that stir deep emotions. If we hold too tightly to what once was, pain can deepen. But by gently learning to let go, we invite healing and freedom. There are simple, practical techniques within Buddhism that support this process. One such practice is mindfulness of the body and feelings. When we notice an urge to cling to a person, object, or idea, we bring curious attention to the feeling. We ask, what is this attachment? What does it feel like in my body? Instead of reacting or pushing away, we watch gently, like observing clouds drifting in the sky. This mindful observation weakens the power of attachment. We begin to see that craving is a habit, not a command we must obey. The desire to hold on changes, it rises and falls, and does not define who we are. Another powerful technique is reflection on impermanence. Regularly reminding ourselves that all things arise and pass helps us to loosen the hold. We might meditate on a favorite flower, a treasured photo, or even our own breath, noticing how everything shifts moment by moment. This reflection softens our grip without forcing us to separate forcibly. It invites loving acceptance. Breathing exercises also help. When feelings of attachment or anxiety swell, slow, deep breaths can calm the mind and body. Each exhale is an opportunity to release a little tension, a little clinging. With practice, these breaths become gentle waves that wash away heaviness. Community and dialogue offer another source of support. Sharing our feelings of attachment and learning from others can illuminate blind spots and open new perspectives. Sometimes, simply naming what binds us gives the first step toward freedom. In Buddhism, loving kindness, metta, practice complements detachment beautifully. By cultivating warmth and goodwill toward ourselves and others, even those we might be attached to, we soften the heart without losing clarity. We learn to love without possession, to care without control. Detachment invites us to examine subtle attachments, not just the obvious ones. We might realize we cling not only to people or things but also to identities, memories, or even ideas of how life should be. These hidden attachments can be gently released by questioning. Is this belief true? Is it helpful for my peace? Sometimes detachment arises from steady practice. Like a tree putting down roots deep into the earth, patience nourishes the heart's gradual loosening. We do not force detachment suddenly but allow it to grow, step by step, moment by moment. Detachment also includes learning to accept uncertainty. Life after 60 naturally involves many unknowns. By embracing impermanence and change, we practice detachment from fixed expectations or fears. This does not mean giving up hope but trusting in the flow of life, like a boat guided by the current rather than fighting it. There are stories of Buddhist elders who, through years of meditation and reflection, embody detachment as a radiant calmness. They face loss, illness, and death with a quiet smile, showing that freedom arises not from holding tightly, but from loving fully and freely. Sometimes detachment can be misunderstood as loneliness, but it is important to remember that detachment opens space for connection without clinging. It allows relationships to breathe, to be based on mutual respect rather than neediness. In practice, when feelings of attachment come, it's helpful to pause and breathe. Saying to oneself gently, "This is attachment," or "This is impermanence," brings awareness and distance. Like stepping back from a painting, we see more clearly without being lost in the image. Compassion toward oneself during this process is vital. Loosening attachments can bring moments of sadness or fear. We honor these feelings as part of the journey, not obstacles to be defeated. The heart that embraces its pain with kindness grows stronger. In daily life, detachment can be expressed through letting go of unnecessary possessions, simplifying routines, or adjusting expectations of ourselves and others. Each small act of release lightens the spirit. Breathing with awareness throughout the day, whether walking, eating, or resting, supports detachment by grounding us in the present moment, where freedom resides. Detachment does not mean isolation or stopping caring. Rather, it invites a different kind of engagement, one where love is given freely, not clung to, where presence is offered without demand. As we cultivate detachment, life's inevitable losses become less frightening. We understand that loss is a part of change, not the end of connection. Love transforms into a gentle current that flows beneath the surface, steady and deep. Imagine a river releasing water into the sea. The river doesn't hold the water but lets it go. Yet the water continues to move, connected to something larger beyond its form. This is the essence of detachment, holding and releasing with grace. Through this gentle opening, detachment frees energy. We are no longer trapped by fears or desires but can move with ease and joy. The heart becomes a wide sky inviting all weather but untouched by storms. In relationship with self, detachment encourages honest acceptance. We see ourselves as ever-changing beings, deserving of love without rigid conditions. We learn to embrace both strength and vulnerability with equal tenderness. Detachment is a daily practice, a living art. Some days the grip tightens, other days it loosens. Patience and compassion accompany this rhythm. In the end, cultivating detachment aligns us with the natural flow of life. It brings peace that no external circumstance can shake. It opens the door to a freedom that carries us gently through every moment, every change, every breath. May this understanding settle softly in your heart. May the practice of detachment bloom within you like a quiet flower, offering its fragrance of peace, resilience, and deep love. Through this wisdom, life after 60 becomes a graceful dance between holding and letting go, a sacred balance where the heart rests easily and love flows endlessly. Responses to loss, grief, letting go, and wisdom. Loss is one of life's most profound and universal experiences. As we move through the later chapters of life after 60, loss often takes center stage. Loss of loved ones, health, independence, familiar ways, and dreams. This loss can stir deep grief, a heartache that speaks to the very core of our being. Buddhism offers a gentle, wise guide through this landscape, not by removing pain, but by teaching us how to live with loss, how to grieve fully, and how to discover wisdom in letting go. Grief is a natural response to loss, a sacred expression of love and connection. It is not something to fear or rush through. Like the changing seasons, grief comes in waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce. It reaches into all parts of us, the body, mind, and heart. The Buddhist approach invites us to welcome grief as a process rather than a problem to solve, as a path through which we can deepen understanding and compassion for ourselves and others. Imagine sorrow as a deep river flowing beneath the surface of life. It carries the memories, pain, and love we hold. If we try to dam the river, it will only swell and cause harm. But if we find a way to flow with the river, allowing its currents to move without resistance, it nourishes the earth and brings new growth. This metaphor gently teaches us how to approach grief with openness and trust. In the teachings of the Buddha, all conditioned things are marked by impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. This is the natural rhythm of existence. When we grasp tightly to what is lost or resist its reality, suffering deepens. Accepting loss is not about forgetting or turning cold. It is about seeing the truth kindly and finding a way to live with the changes brought by loss. Grieving after 60 may feel different from younger years. The layers of experience, the wisdom gathered, and the relationship with mortality become closer. Some may fear that grief will swallow them whole. Others may struggle with feeling isolated or misunderstood in their sorrow. Buddhism reminds us that no feeling is permanent. Grief, too, arises, stays, and then gently recedes, making space for healing and peace. One practical way to meet grief is with mindfulness, paying attention to what is happening inside without turning away. When sadness or pain arises, we can simply acknowledge, Grief is here. Naming the feeling softens the mind's resistance and allows the heart to breathe. This mindful presence becomes the soil in which healing grows. Meditation on impermanence deepens this understanding. We contemplate how all things arise and pass, including the life and presence of those we have lost. Instead of trying to capture the past, we open to the flow of life, where memories become treasures stored gently in the heart, not chains that bind. Another important teaching is the practice of letting go, not as a sudden forgetting, but as a loving release. To let go means to stop clinging to the wish that things might be different. It means honoring what was and inviting peace by trusting the natural unfolding of life. This is not easy, and it often requires time, patience, and compassion for oneself. Buddhism offers loving-kindness meditation, metta, as a way to care for the grieving heart. By silently wishing well to ourselves and those we mourn, may we be peaceful, may we be free from suffering. We cultivate a gentle compassion that tenderly eases the pain. This practice connects us to the shared experience of loss that touches all beings. Community and sharing are also vital in responding to loss. When we speak our sorrow aloud, or simply sit with one another in silence, we weave a web of support. The Buddha taught the power of Sangha, the spiritual community, as a refuge through difficulties. We are not alone in our grief, even when it feels that way. Physical practices like walking meditation or gentle movement can help bring the body into healing relationship with griefs. Sometimes the heart carries pain so deeply it feels stuck. Moving slowly with awareness invites the release of tension and opens space for peace. Over time, wisdom arises from loss. This wisdom isn't about erasing pain, but about discovering new ways of seeing and being. It may teach us more about the preciousness of life, the depth of love beyond physical presence, and the importance of living fully in each moment. There is an ancient story of a monk who lost a dear friend. Instead of shutting down, he poured his grief into compassion, caring for others who were suffering. Through this outward flow of love, his own pain transformed into a deep, serene strength. This story illuminates that loss can become a source of profound growth and connection. Grief can also awaken us to the deeper mystery of existence. It invites reflection on the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, not only in a physical sense but in the rhythms of change everywhere. This understanding brings a humble acceptance and a tender gratitude for the moments we have shared. This path of learning from loss encourages us to cultivate resilience. Resilience here is not about forcing ourselves to be strong or get over grief quickly. It is about leaning into our humanity with kindness, allowing sorrow and joy to coexist, and trusting that healing will come in its own time. After 60, this resilience may feel like an old tree bending in the wind, rooted deeply yet flexible. It does not resist loss but carries the marks of time with dignity and grace. It teaches that wounds can become part of beauty. Letting go also means making peace with uncertainty. Loss changes the landscape of life, and the future may feel unpredictable. Embracing this uncertainty rather than fearing it opens us to new possibilities and a quiet courage that sustains us day by day. Within Buddhist thought, death is not seen as a final end but as a transition, a doorway to another stage of existence. This perspective can soothe grief with hope and trust. When we contemplate our mortality calmly, we live more fully and love more deeply. Loss may leave gaps, but it also makes space. Space for gentler love, for renewed priorities, for spiritual deepening. In this space, we can discover a quieter joy and a profound peace that supports us through the years ahead. In times of loss, the simple acts of kindness, smiling, listening, giving a touch of care, carry immense healing power. These remind us that love never truly disappears. It changes form and flows onward. So, responding to loss with compassionate awareness, patient grief, and the wisdom of letting go is a sacred practice. It embraces the fullness of being human, vulnerable yet noble, sorrowful yet hopeful. May the gentle wisdom of these teachings accompany your heart through all the losses you face. May they bring you comfort in sorrow, strength in mourning, and a serene trust in the endless flow of life. As grief flows through you like a river, may it cleanse and renew, leaving behind a calm pool where love continues in timeless peace. In this embrace, your spirit finds rest. Loss becomes not just an ending but a doorway, a passage into a deeper love, a wider understanding, and a heart open to all that life offers. May you walk this path with gentleness toward yourselves, patience with the process, and faith in the healing power of time and mindfulness. Through the sacred dance of grief and letting go, life after 60 becomes a quiet, profound journey toward wisdom and peace. Spiritual friendship, Kalyamatada explained. In the tender journey of life after 60, one of the most precious treasures we can discover is spiritual friendship. The Buddha spoke of this as Kalyamatada, which means good companionship or noble friendship. This kind of connection is different from ordinary friendships based just on common interests or socializing. It is a deeper bond rooted in shared values, kindness, and a mutual desire to grow in wisdom and compassion together. This sacred friendship becomes a vital source of support, encouragement, and joy, especially as life seasons change and we face new challenges. Imagine walking a winding path through a quiet forest with a trusted companion beside you. The path is sometimes smooth, sometimes rocky or steep. Having a steady friend who walks alongside, sharing the steps and caring for you, makes the journey lighter and more meaningful. Spiritual friendship is just like that. It brings light to dark moments and celebrates each small step of growth. After 60, the presence of Kalyamatada can be especially nourishing. Many elders find themselves facing loneliness, loss of relatives or longtime companions, or feelings of isolation. But a spiritual friend offers something beyond mere company, a mirror that reflects our highest possibilities, a warm heart that holds us tenderly, and an honest companion who walks the path with mindfulness and understanding. The Buddha taught that good companionship, the right friends, is one of the greatest blessings in life. He said, "You cannot travel the path of awakening without companions who encourage and inspire you. True friends help us see clearly, hold us accountable with kindness, and offer courage when fear creeps in. They celebrate our joys and help soften the blows of sorrow." What makes spiritual friendship unique is its foundation on mutual respect for each other's journey. There is no competition, no judgment, only a gentle space to be ourselves fully. This friendship honors both strengths and vulnerabilities, allowing growth at our own pace and in our own way. Practically, how does one cultivate Kalyamatada? It often begins with simple acts, reaching out with a smile, sharing stories of struggles and hopes, listening deeply without rushing to give advice or fix things. It is about presence, offering your full attention and heart to another. In Buddhist monasteries, spiritual friendship is cultivated among monks and nuns through shared practice and teaching. But in everyday life, anyone can nurture this precious connection. It can be with a close friend, a family member, a spiritual teacher, or a community companion. Quality matters more than quantity. Even one or two true spiritual friends can transform the experience of aging. They become pillars of strength, sounding boards for reflection, and sources of gentle inspiration. Spiritual friendship also encourages honesty in communication. Friends offer feedback with love, helping us notice when we get stuck in sorrow, fear, or harmful habits. This gentle challenge helps us grow rather than keep spinning in old patterns. In return, we offer the same loving care, practicing generosity of spirit and forgiveness. This mutual support creates a safe harbor where both friends feel free to be vulnerable and authentic. The practice of Kalyamattata naturally brings us closer to the Buddha's teachings. Friends might meditate together, share readings, or discuss insights. They remind each other of the deeper truths underlying life's ups and downs. This shared wisdom strengthens resilience and joy. Another beautiful aspect of spiritual friendship is how it fosters compassion not only for each other but for all beings. Friends expand their hearts through empathy, aware that each person carries their own struggles. This kindness radiates outward, creating waves of healing in the wider world. In the later years, spiritual friendship can also serve as gentle preparation for the inevitable transitions ahead. Talking honestly about fears, hopes, and the meaning of life and death becomes easier in the presence of trusted companions. These conversations offer comfort and deepen the sense of peace. There is a warm story from Buddhist tradition about two friends. When one fell ill and began to lose physical strength, the other stayed by his side, offering care without complaint or expectation. Their friendship shone brightly in the face of hardship, teaching that love does not depend on youth or health but blossoms in the soil of presence and kindness. Spiritual friendship also helps prevent one of the silent sufferings of old age, the feeling of being forgotten or invisible. Knowing someone walks with you in understanding creates a balm for the heart and nourishes the soul. For those who may feel shy or hesitant, remember that building such friendships takes time and gentle effort. It begins with small steps, willingness to be open, to listen, and to offer kindness without demanding. Technology today offers new ways to connect. 2. Video calls, letters, or shared online meditation groups can nurture spiritual friendship even across distances, reminding us that true connection is not limited by physical space. Loneliness can dissolve in the warmth of these relationships. Solitude embraces self-reflection, while spiritual friendship enriches with shared light and mutual encouragement. As you grow in age and wisdom, you may find yourself naturally drawn to those who lift your spirit and remind you of life's deeper meaning. Cherish these connections like sacred treasures, for they are gifts that sustain the heart. Remember, friendship rooted in spiritual values transforms ordinary moments. Sharing tea, walking in nature, sitting in silence, into sacred ceremonies of presence. Through Kalyamattata, love becomes a living practice of mutual care, teaching us that even as bodies age and leave, the bonds of heart and spirit continue strong. This sacred companionship lights the path of aging with joy and courage, inviting us to grow toward the fullness of peace. May you find and nurture such noble friends, companions who walk beside you with gentle hearts and open hands. With these friends, the journey after 60 blossoms into a dance of shared wisdom, laughter, and tender understanding. In this sacred circle, our hearts expand and deepen, reflecting the boundless compassion at the heart of all lives. And so, through spiritual friendship, Love transforms from a solitary flame into a radiant light that warms many hearts, lighting the way home. Strength in solitude. Stories from Buddhist elders. As life unfolds and the years deepen beyond 60, many find themselves naturally walking the path of solitude. This solitude is often misunderstood, mistaken for loneliness or emptiness. But in the wisdom of Buddhism, solitude is a rich, sacred space, a place of strength, reflection, and peace. It is not a retreat from life but a return to oneself, to the natural world, and to the stillness at the heart of all being. The elders of Buddhist tradition have long embraced solitude as a friend and teacher. Their stories show us how solitude, when met with openness and compassion, becomes a source of inner strength rather than sorrow. These stories carry deep lessons on how to transform the quiet moments into a garden of wisdom, enabling the heart to bloom even in seeming isolation. Think of solitude as the soft, clear night sky, vast, quiet, and full of stars. Alone, it holds immense space and stillness, yet it is brimming with life and light. In the same way, solitude provides room for the heart and mind to rest and grow without distraction or noise. The strength discovered in solitude is a quiet power, one that flows like a deep river beneath the surface. One story is about an elder monk named Koshin, who spent many years living alone in the forest. At first, the silence was difficult, his thoughts noisy, his feelings restless. But gradually, Koshin learned to sit with his stillness. He noticed his breath, the gentle rustle of leaves, the soft rhythms of the earth beneath him. In time, his loneliness softened into spacious peace. Solitude taught him to listen deeply, not just to the world outside but to the whisperings of his own heart. Another elder, a wise nun named Amina, chose solitude not as an escape but as a path to healing. After losing many loved ones and herself facing illness, she found comfort in the quiet of her small hut. Each day, she greeted the dawn with quiet gratitude, identifying with the impermanence of each moment. Through solitude, she rediscovered joy in the simplest things: a bird's song, the flow of the wind, her own gentle breath. Her strength was born from acceptance, kindness, and a renewed connection to all lives. These elders teach us that solitude is not about being alone against the world, but about being alone with ourselves in friendship. They remind us to treat ourselves as tenderly as we would a cherished companion. In solitude, we come face to face with our fears, regrets, hopes, and joys. This meeting is sometimes challenging but also deeply healing. Like a good friend, solitude invites us to hold all parts of ourselves with care and patience. In Buddhist practice, solitude is not isolation but a fertile silence where mindfulness grows. When alone, the quiet helps the mind settle like a lake shedding its ripples. Clarity arises naturally without the distraction of constant noise or busyness. This clarity gives the heart strength, not a loud or forceful strength, but a gentle, steady presence that can hold life's ups and downs with grace. As we age, solitude can deepen our understanding of impermanence. Alone with our thoughts, we see more clearly how everything changes. Faces we love may no longer be near, our bodies may feel different, and familiar routines may shift. Yet, solitude shows us that beneath all change there is a stillness, a core of calm that is untouched by loss or time. This realization is a powerful source of resilience. We may also find in solitude an opening to connect with the vastness of existence. The elder Buddhist traditions remind us that the self is not a fixed, isolated thing but a flowing part of the whole universe. Solitude gives space to sense oneness with nature, the sky, the earth, the wind, and with the unbroken chain of life stretching beyond what we can see. One teaching from a Zen elder says, "Alone in the forest, a tree still grows and breathes freely." This image invites us to see ourselves as that tree, rooted yet open, silent yet full of life. In solitude, our roots reach deep, nourished by the earth of mindfulness and compassion. Yet, solitude is not without challenges. It can sometimes bring waves of loneliness, fear, or sadness. The Buddhist elders teach that these feelings are natural guests. They come and go like the tide. Rather than pushing them away, we learn to welcome them kindly, understanding that even in difficulty, there is learning and growth. Each feeling has its place in the rich tapestry of solitude. Practical ways to support strength in solitude include regular mindfulness or meditation practice, gentle movement, and caring daily rituals. Keeping a small gratitude journal, walking slowly in nature, or lighting a candle to honor the present moment can deepen our relationship with solitude and ourselves. The elders also emphasize the importance of balance. While solitude nourishes inner strength, connection with others remains vital. Spiritual friendship, kindness, and community support weave together with solitude to create a life of wholesome harmony. We do not have to choose isolation to gain strength, but can find a rhythm of solitude and connection suited to our needs. In moments of solitude, we may hear the subtle wisdom of the heart, a clear voice reminding us of our own inherent worth and peace. This voice strengthens us to face life's challenges courageously, with an open heart and calm mind. Solitude becomes a sanctuary, a place where we return again and again, to rest, to heal, and to listen. Through this gentle practice, we discover that being alone does not mean being lonely. It means being whole. The elders' stories teach us that strength in solitude is a quiet flame that burns steadily, never frantic, never fleeting. It is a light we carry into every experience, available whenever the world feels too loud or overwhelming. For those entering their later years, walking with solitude as a friend offers profound benefits. It deepens compassion for self and others, enhances wisdom, and fosters peace that is not dependent on outside circumstances. May you find comfort in the stillness that solitude brings. May the quiet moments reveal the vast, tender heart within you. And may this gentle strength be your companion as life flows gracefully onward. In solitude, like the elder monks and nuns before us, we are invited to a sacred meeting, with life as it is, with ourselves as we are, open, present, and deeply alive. This is the beautiful gift of solitude in later life, a sanctuary of peace, a wellspring of courage, and a path to timeless love. The middle path, balance over extremes in relationships. As life unfolds into its later seasons, particularly after 60, many face the complexity of relationships in a new light. Emotions may run deep, patterns from the past may resurface, and the desire for connection can both enrich and challenge us. Buddhism offers a wise teaching known as the middle path, a way that avoids the extremes of clinging or rejecting, of craving or shutting down, to help us find balance, peace, and authentic connection in our relationships. Imagine walking a narrow bridge stretched over a river. On one side lies excessive attachment, holding too tightly, trying to control or possess those we love. On the other side lies complete detachment, closing the heart, shutting down feelings, and isolating ourselves. The middle path is the gentle, steady walk along that bridge's center, where we balance presence with freedom, care with space, and intimacy with respect. After 60, this balanced way becomes crucial. Life often brings changes that can push us toward extremes. We may feel a strong urge to hold loved ones closer, fearing loss or loneliness. Or perhaps we withdraw, afraid of pain or disappointment. Both reactions can deepen suffering, causing distance and confusion. Buddhism teaches that extremes lead to suffering because they disrupt harmony. Clinging blinds us to the reality of change and binds us in expectations that cannot be fully met. Total detachment leaves us disconnected, blocking the warmth and joy of true companionship. The middle path calls us to walk gently between these poles. What does this balanced relationship look like? It begins with awareness, a mindful watching of our own feelings and reactions. When we notice ourselves grasping too tightly, we are invited to pause, breathe, and loosen the grip. When we sense withdrawal or avoidance, we can invite ourselves to open just a little, to reach out with small acts of kindness or honesty. The middle path does not mean indifferent or lukewarm love. Instead, it is a love full of clarity and compassion, one that embraces impermanence, respects boundaries, and honors the unique journey of each person, including ourselves. Consider a candle flame that dances softly in a gentle breeze, not blown out by the wind, nor enclosed in a rigid glass jar that stifles its light. This flame symbolizes the balance of loving freely while staying present. It glows warmly and steadily, neither flickering wildly nor fading away. In practice, the middle path encourages open communication built on honesty and kindness. We share our feelings without blame, listen without judgment, and accept differences without trying to change others. When disagreements arise, as they naturally will, we approach them with patience, curiosity, and a willingness to understand rather than win. After 60, relationships often require adjustments. Roles shift as children grow, health fluctuates, or social circles change. Walking the middle path means meeting these changes with flexibility and grace. It allows for moments of closeness and moments of space, for shared activities and quiet solitude. Self-care is a vital part of this balance. Loving others wisely means also caring for our own needs, resting when weary, and nurturing our inner peace. When we take good care of ourselves, we bring fuller, more present hearts to those we love. The middle path also invites us to practice forgiveness, with others and with ourselves. We all carry imperfections, make mistakes, and sometimes hurt each other unintentionally. Forgiveness frees us from bitterness and opens the heart to renewal, healing old wounds gently. We learn from the Buddha's example, who avoided extremes of indulgence and denial, seeking instead a steady, wise presence. As he walked the middle path, he cultivated compassion and wisdom that flowed into every relationship and encounter. A story from Buddhist tradition tells of two friends who once quarreled deeply, but managed to walk the middle path through understanding and patience. Rather than shouting or withdrawing, they chose to meet slowly, speak openly, and listen deeply. Over time, their bond grew stronger, rooted not in perfection but in honesty and care. In this balanced approach, we find resilience. Relationships become sources of joy, comfort, and growth rather than conflict or distress. The heart learns to hold space for both closeness and freedom, acceptance and change. The middle path also teaches us to accept what we cannot control: others' feelings, their decisions, the flow of life itself. We do our best with love and kindness, but release the need to fix or force outcomes. This surrender is not weakness but deep strength. This wisdom helps us meet endings with peace when relationships naturally transform or conclude. Instead of clinging to what was, we celebrate what is and what has been, letting love continue in new ways beyond direct presence. In our daily lives, walking the middle path means simple choices made with awareness. Speaking a gentle word, listening with full attention, holding a hand without grasping, giving space without withdrawing. These moments build a steady foundation for balanced, heartfelt connections. Embracing the middle path after 60 bridges the gap between the past and the present, between desire and acceptance, between the comfort of familiarity and the openness to change. It reminds us that love is not about perfect harmony free of difficulty, but about embracing imperfection with kindness and wisdom. May you walk this path with courage and gentleness. May your relationships flow with this balanced grace, nourishing your heart and the hearts of those you hold dear. In the steady light of the middle path, love becomes a dance of freedom and presence, a tender harmony that supports the soul's journey through the later chapters of life. And so, the heart finds its true home, not in extremes, but in the gentle balance of compassion and clarity, openness and grounding. May this balance bless you with peace, joy, and deep connection, now and always. Letting go of regrets. Forgiveness after 60. Life after 60 often brings a quiet time for reflection. A looking back over the many years, the choices made, the paths taken, and sometimes the paths not taken. With this reflection comes a natural companion. Regrets. Regrets touch the heart gently or sharply. A missed opportunity, unkind words spoken, relationships left strained, dreams unfulfilled. Yet Buddhism offers a gentle way to meet regrets, inviting forgiveness toward ourselves and others. This path of letting go is a doorway to freedom, healing, and peace. Imagine carrying a heavy sack filled with stones. Each stone could be a regret, things we wish we had done differently, moments we wish we could change. Carrying this sack weighs down our body and spirit, making movement slow, our steps weary. But what if we could begin to open the sack and take out the stones one by one? What if with gentle hands we set them down, feeling the weight lessen, the heart grow lighter? Forgiveness is the key to opening that sack. But forgiveness here is not about forgetting or excusing. It is about understanding, the deep knowing that all beings are imperfect and have made mistakes. We have all hurt others and ourselves in small or big ways, usually out of ignorance, fear, or pain. Holding on to regret ties us tightly to the past and brings ongoing suffering. Forgiveness invites release. It softens the heart and opens space for peace. After 60, forgiveness becomes a precious practice. Sometimes regrets have lived with us for decades, echoing in quiet moments or rising suddenly like a gust of wind. They may bring sadness, shame, or guilt. Buddhism encourages us not to push these feelings away, but to meet them kindly, like a caring friend sitting beside a hurting soul. First, forgiveness begins within, toward ourselves. Many people carry harsh judgments, thinking, "I should have been better," but these self-blaming thoughts only deepen pain. The Buddha taught the importance of self-compassion, accepting our humanity gently and without harshness. When we forgive ourselves, we recognize that we did the best we could with what we knew at the time. This kindness to ourselves plants the seeds of healing. Forgiving others is often more challenging but equally freeing. Sometimes relationships have fractures. Words unspoken, betrayals, misunderstandings. Holding on to anger or bitterness can poison the heart and block love. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves as much as those we forgive. It releases us from chains of resentment and sorrow. Practicing forgiveness does not mean we have to forget boundaries or condone harm. It means choosing peace over prolonged suffering, valuing our well-being above clinging to the pain. Buddhism shows that forgiveness is a process, a gradual unfolding that blossoms with patience and mindful awareness. Mindfulness supports this process by helping us observe feelings of regret and anger without being swept away. When a painful memory rises, mindfulness gently says, "Here is regret," or "Here is pain." Naming these feelings helps us hold them tenderly without judgment or fear. Like watching clouds drift across the sky, we learn that feelings come and go. Reflection on impermanence also helps soften regret. Life flows constantly, and every moment offers a chance to start anew. We cannot change the past, but we can live present moments with greater wisdom and kindness. Each breath becomes an opportunity for forgiveness and letting go. There is a story of an elder who carried regrets for many years. One day, by practicing meditation and reflection, he saw his regrets as old leaves drifting away on a stream. With each leaf released, he felt lighter and more free. His heart opened to gratitude for life's gifts, including the lessons learned through mistakes. After 60, this letting go of regrets can bring profound peace. We begin to see that life is not a single chapter of perfect decisions but a whole book, filled with ups and downs, trials and triumphs. Each page holds something valuable, even if imperfect. Forgiveness also invites us to reach out and heal relationships if possible. Sometimes a sincere word, a heartfelt letter, or a simple gesture can open a door that seemed closed. But even when contact is not possible, we can hold the other with loving kindness in our heart, letting go of blame and wishing peace. Kalyamattata, spiritual friendship, supports forgiveness by providing safe space to share pain and encourage healing. Trusted companions remind us we are not alone in our struggles. They help us practice patience with ourselves and others, walking gently through difficult emotions. Self-forgiveness may ask us to confront deeply held beliefs of unworthiness or failure. Buddhism teaches that our true nature is pure and radiant beneath the dust of mistakes. In moments of reflection, we are invited to connect with that essence, remembering that we are continually changing and growing. Letting go of regret frees energy that was tied to the past and opens the heart to start new chapters. Small joys, fresh acts of kindness, deepening peace. This renewal is not about perfection but presence, a willingness to be fully present with life as it is now. Creating rituals can support this journey. Lighting a candle to symbolize release, writing letters of forgiveness, even if not sent, or setting intentions to live with more compassion daily. These acts carry meaning and help the mind and heart anchor the practice. Sometimes forgiveness takes time. We may revisit old pains again and again, each time bringing a little more kindness and understanding. This gentle persistence honors our humanness and the complexity of healing. Buddhism's teaching of non-self helps us see that we are not fixed beings tied eternally to past errors. We are flowing streams, able to cleanse and renew. This encourages a hopeful attitude. No matter age or history, freedom is always available. There is no failure in forgiveness, only progress. Even the effort itself brings peace. The Buddha recognized the strength it takes to forgive, and praised the power of love and compassion over anger and blame. In the later years, carrying less of the weight of regret lets us move more lightly through each day. Our relationships soften, our self-image heals, and the heart opens wider to love. In ourselves, in others, and in the world. So, if regrets visit your heart, welcome them with gentleness. Breathe into their presence. Offer yourself and the situation the gift of forgiveness. Let go, little by little, until your sack feels light and your spirit dances free. May letting go of regrets and embracing forgiveness bring you profound healing. May your heart rest softly in kindness, freeing you to bloom fully in the beautiful unfolding of your life's later chapters. In this sacred practice, the journey after 60 becomes a path of peace, a prayer of love, and a celebration of the human heart's capacity to forgive, heal, and shine. Conclusion: living fully and freely after 60. As we come to the closing chapter of this journey, a journey through the gentle unfolding of life after 60, seen through the loving lens of Buddhist wisdom, it's natural to feel a deep sense of calm and openness, a heart ready to embrace what comes with courage and grace. This final part is not an end but a doorway, inviting us to live fully and freely, with peace in our hearts and clarity in our spirit. After exploring many facets, attachment and letting go, suffering and joy, loneliness and solitude, forgiveness and love, we return now to the simple truth at the heart of it all. Life is precious, every moment a gift, every breath an opportunity to awaken to the beauty and mystery of existence. Aging is not a fading but a deepening, a chance to live with newfound wisdom and an open heart. Imagine standing on a mountaintop at sunrise after a long climb. The sky blazes with colors, soft pinks, golds, and blues, spreading far beyond what the eye can see. The air is fresh and clear. Each step taken brought you here. Every challenge faced is behind you, and now you can rest fully in this vast, open space. This is what life after 60 can be: a wide horizon of freedom, peace, and presence. Living fully means savoring the present moments without clinging to the past or rushing toward the future. It means welcoming whatever arises with a heart that is steady and kind. Each smile shared, each breath taken mindfully, becomes a celebration of life itself. The practice of mindfulness we've touched on repeatedly is a gentle invitation to return again and again to now, the only true place where life happens. Freedom flows naturally when we release burdens of fear, regret, and unrealistic expectations. Letting go is not losing but gaining, a gaining of space where the heart can expand and love can flow without chains. Love becomes less about possession and more about presence, less about needing and more about giving. In this freedom, relationships blossom with honesty and warmth, rooted in acceptance and mutual respect. Embracing impermanence, the truth that all things change, helps us move through the seasons of life with grace. Like flowers opening in spring and falling in autumn, we learn to appreciate each phase, knowing that endings are beginnings in disguise. This understanding softens the sting of loss and fills the heart with gratitude for all that was and all that is. Compassion, both for ourselves and others, becomes a guiding light. After 60, this compassion grows deeper, rooted in the wide recognition of shared humanity. We see that every being carries joys and sorrows, strengths and vulnerabilities. This awareness opens the door to kindness in action and word, weaving a fabric of connection that transcends loneliness. Solitude, once feared, turns into a comforting friend. In quiet moments, we touch the essence of our being, unchanging, vast, and free. This inner refuge is always available, a sanctuary for the spirit when the world feels overwhelming. Strength blooms in this stillness, a silent assurance that we are never truly alone. Throughout this journey, spiritual friendship, or Kalimatata, has shown how deeply nourishing it is to walk with others on the path. These relationships encourage, inspire, and hold us tenderly, reminding us that love is most powerful when shared, yet not clung to. Together we grow, heal, and awaken. The practice of self-compassion continues to be vital. Treating ourselves with the same kindness we would a dear friend brings healing and fullness. We recognize that imperfections are not flaws but marks of a life lived fully. This acceptance leads to a gentle freedom rarely found when chasing perfection. Many times, challenges will arise. Health may falter, losses may deepen, uncertainties may grow. Yet armed with the wisdom and practices from this path, we meet these moments not with despair but with resilience, like the old tree bending gracefully in the wind, strong in its roots, flexible in its branches. Death, often an unspoken companion, becomes less fearful when seen as a natural transition, a part of life's endless flow. Preparing the heart to face this passage with peace brings a profound letting go and a final gift of serenity. In living freely after 60, we realize that much we sought externally was already inside us. A heart capable of deep love, a mind able to rest peacefully, a spirit that shines quietly but unshakably. This inner wellspring nurtures us continually, a source of joy beyond conditions. Now, as you continue your own unique path, carry these teachings gently in your heart. Let each day be a chance to wake with gratitude, to breathe with awareness, and to love without chains. Remember the wisdom of the river, the strength of the mountain, the vastness of the sky. These are the qualities within you. Life after 60 is not a decline but a sacred unfolding, a time to live not for the approval of others, but for the joy of being fully human. To rest in the present, embrace change, nurture compassion, and savor the quiet fullness of now. There are so many views on this channel but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue weaving wisdom that touches hearts and transforms lives. May your days be filled with light and peace. May your heart open wide like the endless sky, welcoming all of life's experiences with warmth. And may you walk with gentle courage, knowing that every step is sacred and every breath a blessing. Thank you for sharing this journey on Wisdom Woven. Together, may we live fully and freely now and always.